Welcome back to Bold TV. I'm your host, Philip Michael. Now, let's talk about one of these business models that everybody seems to know about, but may not know exactly how to get into franchising. Now, we know they exist, but how do you actually get run and run it successfully? Well, our guest is one of those people who do just that. And she's the owner of several McDonald's franchises. Welcome, Mya Smith-Edmonds. How you doing, Mya?
I'm doing wonderful. Hello. So happy to be on.
And I'm so happy to have you. And this is
Thank
such an amazing topic and a cool story, and I'm excited to jump into it. Now, we all know that you can own a McDonald's franchise. I know a lot of people watch the movie The Founder, and with the guy that ran McDonald's and got the different franchisees in there and stuff like that. But people don't actually really know how to go about doing it. How does the process work?
Well, basically, when they first start out, of course, they would go online to the McDonalds.com, and then they basically would have to have assets. You want to have at least $1 million in assets, meaning like if you have that like unencumbered assets, where if you have to liquidate them, then you can have that amount of cash, and then of course you'll get loans for like the other percentage of them. But the average income or average restaurant price is about 2.8 million. So they kind of just have it as a ballpark around that amount. So you basically want to have the money, you want to have, of course, good credit. And then also when you actually get approved, like when you go through the system, you're actually going to have to work in the restaurant, because sometimes people think they can be investors and just invest in the business. But McDonald's is not an investment in that capacity. You actually have to work in the restaurants, understand the systems, know the business, and, just put in the work as if it was like a mom and pop business, So it's not an investment as far as where you can just pay money and get into it. They don't function and operate like that.
Okay, so what you're telling me is that you actually worked in your own McDonald's and may still do that. Before we jump into that, I just want to backtrack a little bit. You said it starts with you go on the McDonald's website. Do you just click become a franchise? How do you find it? How do you locate it? And where do you go find it on the website?
Oh, you can just go to www.mcdonalds.com, and then it may say opportunities. And if you want to be like a franchise owner, then you just click on that. And then what it'll do is it'll like have you, like, I haven't done it like forever, but
when did you do your first?
In 2008.
Oh, 2000. Okay, so it's been over 10 years.
Yes.
All right,
Yes.
all right. So you go on there, and this is how you start.
The format changed, but it's the same process.
Same process. Now, you mentioned the $1 million. To a lot of people, that can be scary because it seems like a high barrier to entry. Is there a way how do you get? Do you have to be a millionaire effectively to have that? Because that shuts out a lot of people who would want to start tomorrow. Like, oh my God, where do I put together the money? How do you do that?
Like if you already have a home that's worth, let's just say you have a home that's worth $500,000.
Uh-huh.
You might be a millionaire, but you still have a home that's worth $500,000. You may have bought it for $200,000.
Yes.
So if you were to sell that home, that would be considered $500,000 of the million. Mm-hmm. It doesn't automatically mean you need to liquidate it and come to the table with $1 million cash. But if you had the assets, do you have that amount?
Okay. And then with the rest, filling that out, can you do it through loans, or does it have to be your own asset portfolio that has to come up to $1 million?
Usually it's your own asset portfolio, but everything is flexible, because once you get into the program or get into the process of it, they'll look at what you have and they'll kind of go from there. You may have stocks, you may have bonds, you may have savings, and they'll just kind of see, because it really just depends on which restaurant you're going to get. Because usually when you get in, you come up with 25% of whatever the restaurant is. Let's just say it's a $2 million restaurant.
Yes.
Okay, well, coming up with 500,000. So then if you had 500, then you're good. But you still want to have a little extra, because you really want to have like 1.2% of that cash flow. So you want to at least have like, $600,000, $750,000, and then be able to go. And because if you're going to invest 500,000 of it, you don't want to be at zero, because you still have to invest in the business.
Okay, so you're saying it's not a requirement. It's not a hard requirement. Have $1 million from McDonald's side. It's just recommendation on your end.
Yes.
Okay,
absolutely.
all right. So, because I don't want to discourage people like, I don't have $1 million. How can I do this? Okay, all right. Just wanted to clarify that. You mentioned, going back to that original point, that it's not like, okay, I now own McDonald's. I'm just gonna sit back, kick back, and collect my burger money. It's not how it works. You actually run your own. It's your own shop, but you get the labeling, the branding, and so on and so forth of the McDonald's brand. What did you do, and what does it actually entail of having to work there?
Everything, exactly what you see when you walk in the door and say, I want to order a Big Mac meal with a Coke. What you see every employee in there doing, that's what it consists of. You just happen to be the owner. So if it's taking orders off front counter, if it's sweeping, if it's mopping, if it's making burgers, if it's doing filtering the oil, if it's doing schedules, but now you'll do some things that they don't do as far as like running a business. You'll be doing payroll, you'll be doing HR, you'll be doing insurance, you'll be balancing your books, you'll be communicating with your CPA, making sure your numbers are right. Making sure you're making the right kind of investments as far as equipment, when to replace equipment, when to just repair equipment, also developing a team. You have to be doing all of that day in, day out. You don't get a break from that, because it's not an investment, whereas you can just put the money in and it's just going to run for itself, and then you're going to just collect checks in the mail. It's not going to work like that, because if you invest in it and you think it's going to run like that, you're going to be out of business in less than a year.
So walk me through the first McDonald's that you did, and how many do you have now?
7.
7. So how did you start the first one? How did you get to number 2? Walk us through that process. How long did you have number 1, and how did it go, and how did you get to the next ones?
Okay, well, I had the very first one. Usually when you get in, they want to see what you can do. So you're not going to usually, I mean, things can change, but usually they give you a restaurant that, of course, is not like really high volume, because they want to give you a chance to kind of get your feet wet, see what you can do, see what you're made out of, see how you can develop people, see how you can run the restaurant, see if it's going to be profitable. And I went from 1, and then I ended up going to 3, and that was because a previous owner was actually retiring, and so he had 3, and so he sold them. But that opportunity only comes along, number 1, if you have the money, and number 2, if you're running the first restaurant that you got efficiently, because otherwise they won't recommend that you purchase anything, because they don't want 3 restaurants running like your bad one.
Right.
If it's running. So
they want the three ones running like the good one to have 4 good ones. How much does, on average, if you want to disclose your own, you can, but how much does, on average, does one McDonald's generate a year in revenue, and then in profits also?
Well, volume is on average about 2.8, and the amount that you, like, when you go like bottom line, like you just running it decently or whatever, I mean, you may have $100,000, $150,000 is bottom line cash flow or net income. So that's why you want to have several of them. I mean, if you plan on really, building up a portfolio or having a cash flow that's above, just a regular 6-figure income, you're going to have several, and you're going to have to run them efficiently, and you're going to have to save and invest properly.
What about that?
And you just be spending it.
What about the real estate, the actual property, the land, the building? Do you have to take care of that? Who owns that?
McDonald's owns it, and we take care of it.
Really? So they bring you, they have, okay, this is our real estate, come in here and lease from us.
Yes.
That's a hell of a model. Now, what are the benefits of running a franchise, like McDonald's, versus opening your own burger place like, say, McDowell's? McMyers. What's the difference?
Well, of course, McDonald's has been around forever, so you have the brand reputation, you have the name, but now, of course, you're going to be more profitable as far as if you have 100% of the income that's coming in, you'll make a higher percentage of it if it's your own business. By being the franchise, you make a lower percentage, but this franchise is already established.
Yes.
So that's basically the biggest difference.
Right. People already know the food, they know what they can expect, they know the price point, and they know exactly what to get themselves into.
Yes.
All right. Now, let's switch gears a little bit and talk about your foundation. What kind of work are you doing with your foundation? What is it about?
Okay, what it's about is our biggest thing that we're really passionate about is about the scholarships that we give away. In the last 2 years, we've given away $108,000 in scholarships, and we are like super, super, super excited about it. And when I say we, I'm talking about my dad, Harry Smith. I see you got stuff on the website. So yes, my dad, he is the founder. And so we're just so excited about what we're able to do, because we're able to help children that are underprivileged be able to go to college. And it's not because they're not able, having the mindset or the learning capacity. It's because they usually don't have the money, because they'll go to colleges or they'll get accepted at colleges, but because they don't have the money, they're not able to go. And so we want to make a difference in that. We want to change that. We want to be able to change the economic inequality in America by allowing more high school students to actually go to college. And an example that my dad always uses is 300. The difference between a child that has a high school education versus a child that has a college education. In a 10-year period, the difference in that income is $350,000. So when you look at a lifetime of a career, that's 30 years, that's over $1 million in income. That's a difference in the gap on whether you went to high school and didn't get a chance to go to college, or if you got a chance to go to college and you have a college degree. And so we really want to close that gap and make it possible for so many more students to be able to get the education, but then just close the gap on the economic inequality, because it's really a problem in America, and especially for minorities. And so we want to change that. And the scholarships that we give out is $4,000 to each student. And so we want to be able to reach more students. And I want to give the website, because I would love for people to donate and to help and support, because they can take a look at our website at smithfoundationinc.com. And they'll be able to see the students the recent students that received the scholarship. They'll be able to see videos for children that we've gotten school supplies for, Christmas toys, because we do toy drives. we do a lot of things in the community, and I'm just really excited about it. And so I would love to have the support of other individuals to really be able to help us, because my goal is to be able to give out 100 scholarships in one single year at $4,000. So that's $400,000 in scholarships. And that is my goal. And I would love, love, love and need the support, because like they say, it takes a village to be able to change and to grow up our kids and make a difference.
And that's one of those things, right? Because I love the mission, and it is, would you mention the wealth gap and the cost prohibitive barrier to entry in terms of having to pay for education. And I was fortunate enough to come from a place I didn't have to pay for any education. It was paid for. That was just how the system works. And that is literally where the divide starts. Then there's also absence of real estate ownership, which also contributes to the wealth gap. But again, you're one person, or your foundation. It's a micro contribution to a macro problem. Are you working on ways where you can get more government entities, larger corporate entities involved to actually, because like you said, it takes a village. It doesn't, and to some degree it helps with a village of people, but you need a village of chiefs almost to go out there and change this on a macro scale versus just a speck in the water. Have you thought of that? Are you working on that? What's next?
Yeah. Absolutely, yes. That's what we're definitely working on, to be able to go into have those meetings and go into those doors to be able to get bigger offers. So I can't disclose anybody that we're speaking with, but yes, the answer is we are definitely doing that, because we know that we need like corporations to actually say, hey, I want to help, I want to make a difference, I want to, move the needle in that area.
What's next? Yes. What's next for you, Mya?
What's next is, what is also going on as well is we have my book for COVID, Lessons of COVID 2020, 26 stories. You can go on my website at myaspeaks.com so that you can get yours. It is just a compilation of the experiences. I look at it as whatever you're going through, you can look in this book and find some strength, some encouragement, some hope to get you through whatever storm that may be happening, because it's 26 of us that shared our experiences during COVID. I mean, whether it was health, whether it was relationships, whether it was betrayal, whether it was death, whatever it is, your business, anything, and it just really can help you get to that next level.
Quickly, can you give me the juiciest one?
You got to get it.
Well, there's 26. At least give me one so I know what I'm getting into.
Oh, my God. Well, it's so many.
Just give me the best one. Which one you got? Give us a teaser.
Oh, well, mine's is all about, just how to be thinking whenever you think you're down and you're low and you're thinking, okay, I'm not going to be able to make it. What you have to do to be able to press forward, because you could come out even higher than you did when you started if you just stay focused. But you're going to be able to hear some of my little nuggets in here when you get the book. And you can get it on my website, but it is phenomenally amazing. Yes, you got to get the book. Also, I have a magazine, and this right here is everything. This is me on the cover of Purpose Magazine.
This is your magazine?
No, it's not.
Oh, okay, all right.
And you can get it on my website as well. And it is, when I say everything, if you want to know anything about me, it's in here. And it's really an exclusive interview. And I give a lot of great nuggets, a lot of great information, even talking about my childhood, my family, all types of things, business, life, everything.
All right. So that's an exclusive interview in the magazine? Yes. So what is this here?
This is exclusive. But
see, okay, all right. I'm just making sure. All right. Thank you.
I'm just saying, this magazine, they're going to have like about pages. I mean, when I tell you, it's pages.
Yeah. Oh.
Yes.
That's sleek.
Yes, I'm telling you. So that's what I'm saying. You got to get it. I mean, there is a lot.
Where can you even get the magazine? Only online?
You can get it on my website at myaspeaks.com.
Myaspeaks.com.
Yes.
Myaspeaks.com. And I just spoke to Mya right now. Thank you so much for being here. And again, thank you guys for watching. Make sure you follow us on Bold TV. Well, everywhere. Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, and so on and so forth. Until next time, I'm out of here.